Morning, everybody. It's Stephanie. You see, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Let me tell you guys about the awesome time at church this morning and this huge breakthrough I had. So I'm going to back it up. Wait, before I forget, the song "Child of God" is going to be the song of the day. Okay, all right. Let me just wet my whistle, and then I have to tell you about awesome things today. Okay, so today at church, well, before I talk about the sermon, I'm going to share about what was going on with Sean. Okay, so I was having some hurt feelings because Sean used to text me in the mornings before that. Not just in the mornings, but would respond to my texts, and he would say the sweetest things. And he said that I said the sweetest things, so we just had this really sweet communications when that was happening. But I haven't received a text from him in over 2 weeks. And the last week it was because his two kids were sick. One of them is sick, the other one got her wisdom teeth out. So I had even asked him how they were doing, and he hasn't responded at all. But just, I was like, just a text would take less than 2 minutes. So I was just feeling a lot of sadness and disappointment because the last weekend, at least, I was able to get a hold of him. Finally, I was worried about him because the last time we had talked, he had been sick. So I hadn't heard anything back from him until I asked him to read my text and then call me on Saturday, and he did. And then that's when I found out his daughters, had that going on. So then this Saturday, I'm like, yay, we'll finally be able to talk, and I can tell him about my feelings. And then he didn't respond all day and night Saturday. I still haven't heard back from him on Sunday. So this is it's really, so I was texting him so much, really angry texts and hurt texts, and ended up giving him an ultimatum that if I don't hear back from you, then I'm by this time on Sunday, that's it. But again, that was coming from my wounded place. So at church, this is how I was feeling. So when I got up to do the banners, I just felt this heaviness on me, just through mud. I was doing the banners, and I was like, God, give me breakthrough, because I really need it. So the second song happened, and then the third song, Child of God, came on, and that's when I had my breakthrough, and it was like, okay, first of all, God is teaching me a wonderful lesson in patience. And also, do I really trust God that He brought me and Sean together? And I do. So after that breakthrough with the banners, that's when I had joy, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter when He responds to me, because God meant for us to be together. So I can have trust in that and just have peace. So that is, and then the message was awesome too. Hold on, these earrings always get behind my shoulders. Okay, so we're still talking about the thin red line, specifically for men to come into who they really are. He used two examples of men that did it completely wrong and men that, did it right. And so the first example he used in the Bible was David, and how he even had a heart after God, after God's heart. But he was led into temptation and decided to give into that temptation and have sex with Bathsheba. And then he ends up trying to cover that up by killing her husband. And his man, Greg told us that the commander was like very dear friend of David's, like trusted commander. So that was an example of who did it wrong. But then the situation with Joseph and Potiphar, same situation. He resisted and resisted, and then like even had to run out of the house because she was like so bent on them having sex. So he ran out as she grabbed hold of his robe. So he is definitely an example of a man that did it right, and that God, that we can, the men in our lives, like you guys, can have that too if you just have to keep leaning into God. And also, so a situation that, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, the other revelation I had, they were talking about, so anyway, it'll come to me. Every man wants to know if they have what it takes. Hold on. Wait for it. Anyway, oh yes, that a lot of times men turn to Eve, woman, because they think that that's the answer when really the men should be running to God. And so here in this situation with Sean, I end up like doing the same thing, turning to him for my validation when I should be getting that from God. So that was a revelation that was really powerful too. So I also apologize to him for my, giving him an ultimatum and all that. So I know eventually he'll read the text, but I'm not like angry about it or whatever. Like, God he'll read them eventually, and I'm okay with however long that takes, which is huge for me to say, but wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone to church and had that breakthrough with banners and listened to this message. So also Greg was like, men need to like every day put on the full armor of God, but especially the belt of truth, because truth is really the only way they can have foundations of like getting stronger. And then Greg talked about like pornography, and it was really amazing because he actually like apologized to the women there for the way men, have gone to that. It is so prevalent right now. But what really, yeah, so he apologized and then ended up praying for the women, and that was really powerful. And I have experience with my first husband, was struggling with pornography, so it touches close to home, so that especially ministered to me when he prayed for us and apologized, so that part was like really powerful. Okay. I think that is everything. Oh yeah, and Eve, the beauty, seems to be the answer for a lot of men, but really it's God gives women beauty, but it's not for yeah, it's not the answer. A beautiful woman, it's kind of like that comparison to looking at porn, using that woman, but really we're supposed to honor women in our lives. So speaking from the men, of course. Okay. All right. I think that's everything. Now I'm going to do the devotional and the poem, and yes, and then pray. Okay, so we're still in chapter 11, Love Heals from Past Mistakes, and we're in the middle of a paragraph here. So over the past few years, she reached out and helped. And just a reminder, you guys, this was written by a woman who works with sex traffic victims. And so they have a ministry called Thistle Farms, where people who have had that go on in their lives and have those woundings, there's a ministry for them there. So, over the past few years, she has reached out and helped some new women find recovery and make their way toward Thistle Farms upon their release. Oh, this is another person in prison. Well, she's still, oh yeah, it's this woman we were talking about. I forgot she had been in prison. So, well, she still had years to learn in prison to learn from her mistakes and build a bridge to pass over the troubled waters she stirred up. She may yet make it home. Her mistakes, which were many, do not mean she can't heal or help others find healing. Again, learning from our past mistakes includes the important lessons described in the chapters on mercy and forgiveness. When we learn from rather than run from our past, well, that's powerful. When we learn from rather than run from our past, it can actually become a powerful part of the healing story. Even the mistakes and brokenness become part of the good news. Okay, I'm going to pause there. And poem of the day. Maybe. Okay. Warm. Oh, we did that one the last time. Okay. This is called In the Garden of Gethsemane. Before the dawn of Easter, there came Gethsemane. Before the resurrection, there were hours of agony. For there can be no crown of stars without a cross to bear, and there is no salvation without faith and love and prayer. And when we take our needs to God, let us pray as did his Son. That dark night in Gethsemane, thy will, not mine, be done. All right, you guys, now I'm going to pray for the men again, I think. So, Lord, I thank you so much for my subscribers and for giving me the opportunity to minister to so many people. Right now, Lord, I just ask that any man that hears this message that is struggling with any of those things, Lord, that you would just ask that you would come and encounter them with your love, that they would know that nothing can change your love for them, and that you would bring freedom in the name of Jesus. All right, you guys, I'll talk when I have more to say.